everybody, it's Rob Holman with Northwest Fishing Reports, and we're celebrating Bass Week. Today I'm at Mardon Resort, and I've got Danny Garrett at the Department of Fish and Wildlife and Shelby Ross. And one of the interesting pieces for educating the public that I want to talk about is the retention of bass. I know it's legal to keep them, but a lot of people think that bass fishing is a catch and release fishery. Can you tell us a little bit, Danny, about the regulations around retaining bass?
Well, I'll give you my perspective. You know, back in the 70s and 80s, there was a strong conservation ethic that got started among bass anglers, and it was a great thing for the sport of bass fishing across the country. And it's why we have such great angling across the country, is because of all the conservation that's happened. But we do have protective harvest regulations here in Washington for smallmouth and largemouth bass. So you can keep 10 smallmouth, only 1 over 14 inches, and largemouth you can only keep 5. And none of them can be between 12 and 17 inches, and only 1 over 17 inches. And we have these protective regulations because there isn't a lot of large quality sized fish in these populations. So by protecting the larger ones, it allows the fishery to perpetuate itself on into the future.
So Shelby, are bass any good to eat?
I have never eaten a largemouth in my life. I grew up with catch and release, and we just never even thought about eating a largemouth. I have had the smallmouth. They're fine to eat, and there are lots of smallmouth, and keeping a few of them, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. So, yeah, the tournament bass anglers are very adamant that all bass should be released. And I don't know that that's, I don't feel that way. Keeping some of the smaller smallmouth, nothing wrong with them for dinner. And largemouth, we just catch and release. Our fishery has never been better, I think, for the bass, because of that catch and release, so it's important.
You're an avid bass angler yourself, Danny. So, have you eaten a bass?
I sure have. Up in Canada, when we were catching smallmouth, again, I was in Ontario. It's a different ethic there, and people absolutely catch and eat smallmouth, and they're wonderful. Just move around the country, you find people that have certain ideas about the way fish should be treated, but I think that's why we have regulations.
Sure. And if people want to learn more about the current bass regulations on any waterway in Washington, they can visit.
Well, check out we still have a pamphlet that we put out every June, but we now have an application as well that's on your Android or your iPhone, and so you can just click a button and get the regulations for that water body.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for watching. Get out there and do some fishing.